Hello, everyone. Just double checking that everyone can hear me. I'm going to take that as a yes. Wonderful. Well, welcome, everyone. We're delighted to be speaking with you today about the request for proposals for the National Network for Microelectronics Education. My name is Michelle Williams. I'm the Executive Director of the SEMI Foundation, and I am part of the internal NNME team. I will soon hand off this webinar to my colleague, Mike Glavin, who is Director of Workforce Development at SEMI Foundation, and our other colleagues. Next slide, please. So today we're going to briefly remind you of the what and the why of the NNME, and then dig into the RFP process and timeline. And then we'll answer as many questions as we can and let you know how to get additional questions answered. So this is the SEMI Foundation's mission. Ultimately, we work to move people toward good jobs in the semiconductor industry. We do everything from industry awareness in elementary schools to register and apprenticeship programs to initiatives that help members of the military community find careers in chips. We are global, but we understand that all workforce development is highly local, and we have more than a dozen programs to help students, job seekers, and workers thrive in this industry. SEMI, the Global Industry Association for Microelectronics, is our parent company, and you can find out more about both organizations at semi.org. Next slide, please. So this is the extraordinary NNME team, some who've come on very recently and others who've been with us for a couple of months. You will be getting to know all of these wonderful folks over the course of the next several months and years, and I'm excited for you to meet all of them. One of our very exciting hires is Jessica Centeno. Jessica, can you jump on and show your face very briefly and just say hello to our studio audience, as it were?
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I hope that you can see me. Really excited about this initiative and overseeing it and the partnerships that we'll establish throughout this ride together. So really excited. And as you can see, Michelle just mentioned, we have an incredible team of passionate and committed professionals who are here to support and excited to work with you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jessica. And we are so thrilled to have you with us. So before I hand this over to Mike, a couple of things. First, I know I said this at the last webinar, but I'm going to say it again. We have been where you are so many times, and we are hoping to make this RFP process and proposal as manageable as possible. We'll do the best we can to give you the time and support you need to be successful. Second, I also need to repeat and underscore important information for anyone applying to be a part of the NNME. It is critically important that you pay close attention not just to the outcomes and deliverables, but the values of the NNME. This is our collective big chance to transform workforce development in the semiconductor industry. And as a sector, we need to operate differently than we have in the past if we want a different result. We need to truly and powerfully connect workforce development efforts nationwide and smash barriers to opportunity for all Americans. So to that end, we are deeply committed to a collaborative, connected network that shares learnings, best practices, resources, and thought partnership. Nodes and performers will be expected to support one another's work, collaborate wherever possible, and be committed to the greater good. The assets we create through the NNME funding will be open source and available to all. Our approach at the SEMI Foundation to all our work and the NNME is how can each of us be in service to each other. So if you are willing, able, and excited to work in that way, we're so delighted to welcome you to the NNME. And with that, I'll hand it over to Mike.
Thanks so much, Michelle. Welcome everybody to the webinar. We're super excited to definitely have this RFP available for the whole of our community to see and react to and start building partnerships around. We know that you have all of you have already been working together in many ways. Have had a lot of conversations between Semicon West last week and the preceding months. About how many of these partnerships for the NNME regional nodes have already started forming. So we're super excited to really kick off this process in earnest. You've already met the NNME team, and just as a heads up, the recording will be available. The slides will be available. We're going to try to make be as informative as possible and make everything available on the nnme.org website. Wanted to kind of quickly walk through the agenda and then we can dive into things. Quick overview again of the background of the NNME and for the RFP, talking about again the regional node overview. We're going to touch a bit on the platform that we're using. It's called Submittable for uploading proposals that we will then pass over to the scoring process. Touch a little bit about the evaluation criteria timeline, then provide a quick recap. Quick note about the Q&As. We have a kind of Q&A function here in Zoom. I'm going to try to keep my eyes off of those until the end. We are also releasing, if it hasn't gone live yet, it will in a few minutes, kind of a preemptive Q&A. For lack of a better term, we realize that the RFP document in and of itself is fairly dense. It's definitely thorough. That was something that was important to us and our partners at NSF. We are kind of excited to also create kind of this preemptive Q&A to help answer some questions that we recognize folks might have off the bat. I'm also going to try my best here to answer as many questions live after the presentation as I can confidently answer. But in many cases, I'm going to defer to answering the questions with our team in writing and then getting them back to everybody in a more kind of complete and comprehensive way. I would rather err on the side of completeness and correctness than on the side of speed. There's plenty of time for folks to kind of react to those answers, and we'll be posting them after a period of time once the question window closes on the nnme.org website as well. But with that, let's kind of kick things off into the show. This slide I feel like needs no introduction. We're at obviously a massive inflection point. Demand for talent is exploding. The current systems can't keep up. The purpose of the NNME again is to not just fill jobs, but really build a national infrastructure that supports our economic and national security. The NNME definitely exists to meet this moment, and you all are a massive part of that. To unify kind of the fragmented efforts that are already existing in the community and space, to scale what works, to open doors for all Americans to succeed in this industry. Obviously the technology is essential to our innovative future. So this work is super urgent. It's super high stakes. I think we should all be kind of thankful that we have the pleasure to take a bite out of this and solve these real problems for our future. And we're excited again to help shape this along with all of you all. Michelle talked a little bit about kind of the mission of the Semi Foundation. I wanted to kind of touch a little bit about kind of how we're thinking about the mission of the NNME itself, and really it's the gold standard for employer-aligned microelectronics education, really delivering a modern work-based learning that prepares all Americans for great jobs in this awesome space and unlocks careers that really advance U.S. innovation and prosperity. Our vision is pretty simple and bold. NNME, again, is going to set this standard. We're going to focus on three pillars. And again, this is definitely content if you were at the LOI RFP that you've already seen, but it definitely begs repeating over and over and over and over again. Network engagement is a massive part of this. It's in the acronym, the National Network for Microelectronics Education. Building regional ecosystems that integrate local strengths with national coordination, strengthening curriculum and pathways by modernizing education and embedding stackable credentials and work-based learning, and just generally increasing throughput of participation, ensuring that all Americans can really access these awesome careers. And again, we're super excited to get the next part of this process started in partnership with all of you. So the RFP, it's live. It's been out since Monday. You all have probably started reading through it and noticed that we expect to support up to 8 regional nodes with potential funding of up to $20 million over 5 years. Again, it's intended for coordination, partnerships, and workforce programming. This kind of current round of funding is going to be fund up to 4 regional nodes. Again, it's important to note, and I think I said this at the last webinar as well for the LOI. This is a maximum potential amount. It's not necessarily a guaranteed award level for every node. And as with all things, I offer this disclaimer. Funding levels are subject to change and definitely contingent on federal appropriations, programmatic priorities, and proposal competitiveness. Again, this information is for planning purposes and does not constitute a funding commitment by the NNME or its federal partners. That said, through this RFP, we're seeking regional nodes, regional consortia that will definitely accelerate and expand the microelectronics talent development in our country. These nodes will build collective ecosystems, and they're going to deliver training that connects education to employment. The big dates that most of you again have already seen if you read the RFP already. We're going to have Q&A as part of this webinar. We're also going to have an open inbox. Many of you have used it already. NNME@semi.org to submit further questions. We're going to aggregate those questions and answer them in mass. And once we get to kind of October 25th, we're going to close that question window in order to give everybody that's participating in this the same answers at the same time. In the spirit of fairness, we're going to release those questions and those responses by November 3rd. The proposals are due December 22nd, and we're anticipating an award announcement after scoring review and contracting in March of 2026. And then we're expecting the work to start within 30 days of that award notification. Eligibility and responsibilities. Our eligible lead organizations can include community or technical colleges, four-year universities, workforce boards or intermediaries, industry associations, economic development agencies, and nonprofit training providers. We really expect the regional nodes to design and deliver industry-aligned training, build on kind of the work that has already been done in this space and accelerate it. Build strong regional partnerships. Again, this, the big part of this is about the network and driving collaboration. So these partnerships matter among, higher ed, workforce groups, primary school education, and employers. We want to make sure that these systems are aligned and are optimizing, any other semiconductor-related investments. We expect these regional nodes to partner with employers deeply on work-based learning, apprenticeships, internships, other applied and indirect learning. We're going to expect also regional nodes to contribute on a national scale to curriculum and outcomes to this shared national infrastructure that we're responsible for building at the hub operator level. And finally, and importantly, conducting outreach to raise the awareness of the semiconductor careers in partnership with all parts of this network, including K-12 systems. One of the things that it's also super important to the entirety of the NNME as kind of and is a core responsibility of the regional nodes is to really be able to rapidly execute and iterate, both in partnership and in designing content, curriculum, and activities for the space. And I'll say it again because we've said it multiple times, and I'm going to say it many times as we go through this, committing to this collaborative, open sharing values of the NNMA. Again, I kind of just covered this, but again, this is a super important component of this work. Moving on to the kind of consortium composition and scope of that we're hoping to see in each regional node. Again, these are regional consortia. It should reflect the geographies, education, workforce, and industry capacity. we're really leaving it up to applicants to define the geography of their region, and most importantly, show very clear rationale through employer commitments, through a demonstration of workforce needs, through kind of the education and learning capacity of all of the partners, and then linkages to other federal or state or regional innovation clusters, be they in our industry specifically or more broadly for advanced manufacturing or for adjacent industries. Again, the point of this work is very much to knit as many of the component parts of this space together as possible, and to drive that kind of collaboration and iteration at scale. One of the things that we've tried to be clear about is that the geographic design of this is really up to the applicants. Um, your space is the best. We're asking folks to look past the immediate horizon that they can see, and make a clear case that there is not only a kind of a significant geographic scope of this, but also deep collaboration. And so one of the things that I wanted to share with you all is that that collaboration part is going to be very obvious also in the volume of applications that come from a given region. If there are a lot of collaborative proposals from a single region, there's a chance that the reviewers might look at that and say, there really isn't much collaboration here to begin with, or else all of these parties would have been working together already. And they might take that into account when scoring or making the awards. So there's definitely a lot at stake here, but one of the things that's definitely a priority for NSF, for us as the hub operator, and that will also be a priority of the reviewers is demonstrating that deep collaborative tissue across a larger region. A little bit more on kind of the composition and scope. These are kind of the required parts, but we're definitely hoping that proposers for the regional nodes, really take this and run with it. At least one, but hopefully more, post-secondary institutions that deliver workforce relevant training. At least one, but again, likely more regional and national employers in this space. Not only that are just kind of existing in a vacuum, but are committed to working inside of this ecosystem as an essential partner. Collaboration from workforce partners in your space and geography. So those can be workforce boards. Those should be training providers. They should be workforce intermediaries, or really kind of anybody that you can bring together with the potential responsibility for connecting learners to registered apprenticeships, internships, or job placement services. And then, really any other kind of additional partners from the broader ecosystem, potentially industry associations. There are a lot of opportunities for collaboration in this space. And again, one of the things that I shared with many of you all when we had kind of just kind of expectation setting conversations during the LOI process was the kind of expectation that these regional nodes, as they're designed at this point in time, it's the beginning of a process, and we expect that the part of the regional node process will be kind of sort of sinking really deep roots and building strength for the purposes of continuing to expand. So kind of keep that in mind as well as you're building these consortium. So when it comes to submitting your proposal, we've adopted a platform called Submittable. It's super user friendly. It's going to make life a little bit easier, hopefully for you all as proposers, as well as for the reviewers that we're going to be bringing into this process to review these awesome proposals. It is not a system that's native to us, and so again, for a lot of the technical components of Submittable, if there are any kind of issues or troubleshooting that needs to be done, I really encourage you to go to the website that we just put into the chat. That's not to say that we can't also be helpful. If you go into that process and you run into a roadblock that you can't solve either through the um, their support ticket system or their help center, please send us an email. We obviously want to create the conditions where everybody can apply. Um, while again, we don't necessarily have the problem to have the ability to solve every problem. We do know the people that do, and we're paying them and to make sure all the problems are solved. But please utilize that as kind of a first step when it comes to um, when it comes to uploading things into the submittable platform. Again, it's something that you should be able to get into now, but it is an electronic submission through the submittable platform when you get ready to submit it by December 22nd. Um, Definitely create your account early. All of your progress will autosave. There are some downloadable templates that are required as part of this. Budget narrative, and milestone structure, among others. Those will be available both in the platform, and we will also make them available on the NNME.org website. Please obviously double check that all attachments and letters of commitment are included before hitting submit. Once submitted, and I know this was an issue with our LOI process, you will definitely receive an email confirmation. Obviously, please check your spam before you ping us. But if you don't receive that email conversation, or sorry, email confirmation, excuse me, please ping us at nme@semi.org and let us know if you don't get it. Moving on to the kind of evaluation criteria. This is obviously in the RFP, but we really wanted to highlight it here. It's a weighted scale. Obviously, the big ticket items on here are, while everything, if everything is a priority, then nothing is. And so there are a couple of things that are obviously higher priority than others. All of it is important, though. Workforce education, alignment, and training infrastructure is a massive part of this. Your ability to, again, just generate the throughput of talent that needs to be upskilled in order to meet the demand of jobs. Regional relevance and industry demand is obviously a big part of this. We want to make the biggest impact where the biggest opportunities exist. Convening power and network reach, again, prioritizing the value of the network and its kind of collaboration. Organizational and operational capacity obviously is also kind of a big part of this. This is going to be a big lift, and we want to make sure that the organizations leading this have the ability to deliver and be held accountable. Rounding out the list are the ability to provide data and strive towards continuous improvement, and then thinking about sustainability and employer investment is a big part of this. The funding is finite from a timeline standpoint, and while we as a collective NNME, both hub operator and nodes, as they exist in the near and longer term future, will be part of making a case to the powers that be that more funding is needed and required to perpetuate this work. We can't necessarily count on that, and we also want to create the conditions where the industry has skin in this game too, but we also need to make sure that we're delivering a significant amount of value in order to get there, and so that's a big part of this as well. Okay, so kind of recapping the timeline, and for those of you that are curious, like I said, I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can, if I can, but I also want to make sure that we're answering questions thoroughly, and so there will likely be many that we don't necessarily provide an answer to today, but then we will provide answers to when we release the questions and responses on November 3rd. Again, if you have questions today, put them in the Q&A. If you think of them later, definitely email them to us. But we would ask that you email us those questions by October 25th, 2025. And again, we're going to strive to turn around those answers by November 3rd. The proposal submission deadline is December 22nd, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we anticipate an award announcement going into March of 2026. And then we'll, be rocking and rolling within 30 days of that award. So I'm going to try to take a look at the Q&A. That's a really long question. So do you plan on, I see a question about another cycle of RFPs. The short answer is yes. I do not have an approximate timeline for that yet. I know what I want and what we want to do, but our ability to do that is still up in the air. We know that us and our partners want to eventually get to 8 nodes. The question is also ultimately, is that something that we can pull off by the end of 2026? I sure hope so, but I can't necessarily make any guarantees. But the first, 4 nodes will be awarded in this process. Yeah, and then we'll eventually get up to 8 nodes. The nodes are going to definitely be defined by geographical location. I see a question about that as well, and so that's definitely the priority. Yeah, and on the time, yeah, just to clear up any confusion, if there was any, the time is 11:59 p.m. Eastern time, and if there are any places where you see that a contradiction in that, I would definitely love to know about it. And so shoot us that information at nnme@semi.org. If there, kind of just reading through some of these questions. Yes, the up to $5 million amount is still relevant for the first 4 regional nodes whoever asked that. And yeah, some of these questions require a little bit more of a complicated answer again that I don't want to fly off the cuff and not necessarily get absolutely accurate. So with that, I think we'll wrap things up. Again, thank you all so much for generously carving out some of your time to be with us today. This is a super exciting opportunity. We are really thankful for NSF and their funding, along with the Department of Commerce, and kind of creating this path forward for us collectively. It's going to be a super fun and rewarding journey. The future of our industry definitely depends on its workforce, and so, like I said, the stakes really couldn't be higher. This is really going to be the gold standard for industry aligned training. This is probably going to be something that other industries pattern themselves after, and so it's fairly trailblazing in that regard. And so we're excited to have you join us as partners, as proposers, as leaders, and really kind of building the workforce that secures America's technological future. Michelle, I'm going to kick it back over to you if you have any closing thoughts, but thanks everybody for being here.
Helpful if my video would go on. Mike, you said it all. Don't need to keep anyone for any more time. We're just really grateful for all of your partnership and really looking forward to receiving all of your wonderful proposals. So thank you, everybody.